Nittany Line Roar with Extreme Panda here, and today I'm going to talk a little bit more about whether or not Telluria needs a nerf. But first, we got a new update with Empires and Puzzles, so if you haven't updated your game yet, make sure to do that, because now we can upgrade to level 24 of the Stronghold. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to start things off. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about Telluria, because I made a part 1 video, which if you haven't watched yet, go ahead and watch that video and then watch this one, because in about the last week or week and a half or so since I made that video, some things have happened. For example, at least one top alliance has actually disbanded, partially because of Telluria, and almost all of the top teams in war having Telluria, and so it just becomes fighting Telluria over and over again, and it just kind of wore on some people. There was a lot of frustration and things like that. So in my previous video, I said that Telluria does not need a nerf, that it was a new, exciting kind of challenge, and that yes, it's harder, but it's a puzzle to solve. And while I still feel that way personally, my tune will change a little bit if enough people are not having fun that they're actually disbanding alliances and quitting the game over it. Because when it comes down to it, this is a game. It's supposed to be fun. We should be having fun playing against each other. So while I'm not ready to commit yet to saying that Telluria needs a nerf, there are some points I wanted to bring up that could potentially lead to that. So this video really isn't a video about whether she should or should not get a nerf, but more about what could lead to it happening. Because there's been a major shakeup in the game. So one of the things that you could put out there as an argument for why she needs a nerf is that previously I think a lot of people were having fun because there was a diversity in tank choices. In wars and in raids, you could use Guinevere, you could use Ursina as some of the top tank options that are 5 stars. But there were plenty more than that too. You could use Santa even, or Kunshin, or, But one thing that's happened since Telluria has taken over is, because she was widely available as a hero of the month, almost everyone who is pay to win could get her, and did get her. Not everyone, clearly, but if you take a look at the top alliances, you can see that most of the competitive alliance people got Telluria, and so there's just not a diversity in tanks anymore, which means the defenses you're facing are basically all the same. In fact, let's go through the top defenses and see. Let's just go through the top 10. This is the top 100, but number 1 is Telluria with a Vela flank, which Vela and Gravemaker are probably the top flanks for Telluria, but we're probably going to see a lot of Telluria Vela here because they were so recent. Telluria Vela, Telluria Vela, Telluria Vela. Did I already click on this one? Telluria Vela. We got Telluria, but no Vela. That's like the first one. Telluria. Why is there multiple 7s? That's really funny. Telluria Vela. Telluria Vela, Telluria Vela. So that's just the top 10. In the top 10, there was no other tank than Telluria. Let's go just randomly pick. Oh, there's a Heimdall. Let's just randomly pick some out of the top 100 and see. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. A reason that could lead to Telluria being nerfed is that there's just, if you want to be a top competitive player, you pretty much have Telluria or you don't. See this? We're just going through the top 100. Hey, there's Rev. I know Rev. Hi, Rev. Alright, so you can see what I'm talking about. When there's not a diversity like there was before. I know Permagrin too. Hey. Hey, whoa, we got a Delilah tank here. But most of these are Telluria. I know Globot too. Wow. Lots of friends in the top 100 today. Hey, everybody. Looks, there's Eris. Yeah, I know lots of people in the top 100 now, so and pretty much everybody has Telluria. But I've been hearing people who are rating at the top level, saying it's just not fun to go against Telluria over and over and over and over and over again, because she is harder, and even though it's more of a challenge, there's a point at which it just becomes the same thing over and over. And another thing that's coming up with Telluria is because she really slows the game down. It's taking a long time to fill the raid chests. Like, even if you are undefeated against Telluria, and you're fighting in these top brackets, like, these matches can take so long, because if Telluria goes off even once, your match could go close to the countdown timer, just trying to take out Telluria and then reload and then take out the flanks and things like that. And to even stay alive against some of these defenses, you have to take possibly 1 or 1.5 healers, I think is good. What I mean by 1.5 healers is like Regard and Grizzle, because Grizzle doesn't really heal that much. Or like you could take Regard and Anzo, because Anzo doesn't heal that much, but it's like 1.5 healers just to try and keep everyone alive. Alright, another reason Telluria could get nerfed has actually less to do with Telluria and more to do with who's flanking Telluria. So her card on its own is really good, but it's when you put Gravemaker and Vela behind her that she's really tough. That dot is, the damage over time is just really, it's a lot, and it happens really fast, and it's really hard to deal with. And so if Telluria goes off and slows everything down, you often just can't recover from this particular flank setup. And so most of the time when people are complaining about Telluria, it's not just Telluria, it's who's flanking Telluria. And so this actually brings me to a broader point too, that now that most defenses, for people who've been playing a long time, are reaching 19 emblems and 20 emblems, part of this also is just the defenses are so strong, there's no room for error. And so much so to the point where, here's another reason why people may want to nerf Telluria, is it's starting to feel more and more like you either have the board or you don't when you start out. You either can kill Telluria before she goes off or you don't. If she goes off, you really can't recover. And so that's all luck. You know, at some point, it's 50-50. And I think that it's actually kind of probably playing out in the stats that when you go to attack a Telluria defense, especially if you have Vela and Gravemaker back there, it really is like 50-50. Either you've got what you need or you don't. And you know, I don't think that's why people are interested in this game. There's a lot of games out there that rely heavily on luck, but I think a lot of people play this game for the strategy, for the specials, for the card collecting. So there's a lack of diversity. There's the flanks that are really tough to deal with. They just synergize so well with Telluria. And also because of her special, it's starting to feel like more luck is involved. So these are all things that degrade somebody's enjoyment of playing the game. So while I'm not ready yet to commit to saying that she needs a nerf, like, this is a game that people should play and enjoy, and if enough people aren't enjoying it, then what's the point of it being a game? You know, people can easily go play another game that's more fun. And so that is something that I worry about, and I think it is something that Small Giant Games should take note of. However, I am a little bit concerned that Small Giant Games is kind of backed into a corner here now too. Because if you go back and read my comments from the first video where I said I didn't think Telluria needed a nerf, I was surprised that almost everybody who commented agreed with me. I thought it would be a little bit more controversial than it was, and not that I was looking for controversy or anything, but I just expected there to be a debate about it. But everyone was pretty consistent in thinking that she didn't need a nerf. Only a few people thought she did, and they had really good points. In fact, those are the points that I'm bringing up in this video. And that's what makes this tough, because she's a good hero, she's a fun hero, she's really fun on offense too. In fact, she's not overpowered for offense, she's a lot of fun on offense. A lot of people have her, invested in her, put a lot of resources and time into her, and it really does feel like a kick in the gut if Small Giant Games comes along and nerfs her for people who do have her, which is a lot of people. I made a video a while back that was about which heroes were on the nerf watch list. Again, if you watched that video, you know I said that they weren't necessarily ones that I think should get nerfed, but ones that I think were maybe on the watch list for it. Well, I think Telluria, of course, tops that list now. But one thing I said in that video was that after they release a hero like this, they really can't go nerfing heroes. I mean, especially for people who like paid money for this game, they are going to feel like Small Giant Games stole their money, and that's a real problem. So Small Giant Games is kind of backed into a corner now because people who have her want to keep her, and yet most of the people who have her and want to keep her are also not enjoying the meta anymore. The meta being, in war or in raids, just facing the same defenses. So Melosi, the current hero of the month, I think is supposed to help with that. They were very wise to release Melosi, and I have Melosi, I just don't have darts for him. Let's see if I can find him. But I think that they were wise to release Melosi right after Telluria because he's one of the keys to trying to beat her, along with Grizzul. But it still feels 50-50 because like when I take Grizzul into attacks and I have the fast mana troop on her, I only get her off about half the time before Telluria goes off, and Melosi's kind of the same way. But the more people who get Melosi and level her up, or level him up, the easier it will be to defeat Telluria. So I think that Small Giant Games being backed in a corner, this is the problem, is I think there's going to be a lot of pressure to nerf Telluria. But if they do, they're also going to make a lot of people mad. That's a very controversial decision. They're kind of in a no-win position. If alliances are breaking up or people are leaving the game because of Telluria, that's a problem that they want to fix. But if they fix the problem, they may cause other people to get upset and leave the game. Can you imagine, like, especially if they nerfed Telluria a little too much, to the point where she couldn't even be used as a tank in like war or raid anymore, and everybody wanted to go back to their Guinevere's or their Ursinas, and now all of these resources have already been spent, leveling her up and setting up defenses based on her. That'd be a real problem. So I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe there will be a part 3 of this video as we see how things go, but in the past, what Small Giant Games has tried to do is print answers to problematic heroes like this. I get the feeling, though, that Telluria is too widespread an issue right now to print answers effectively. Melosi's one, but it could be a long time before there's answers printed. So I don't know what's going to happen. I wish I could tell you. I wish I could see into the future. I just don't know. I'm still having fun trying to figure out how to beat her. But sometimes if you've watched some of my war videos since she came out, I get frustrated too trying to face her. It's a really frustrating kind of defense to go up against Telluria like that. It'll probably get old at some point, especially if all the defenses use her and there's no diversity. So anyway, those are just some things that I was thinking about, listening to your comments, and just some points I wanted to bring up for you to think about. I want you to go ahead and comment. I'm curious to hear what people think now. It's been a little bit. More Tellurias are getting leveled up and emblemed. What do you think Small Giant Games is going to do, or what do you think they should do to get themselves out of this corner they're backed into? All right, so make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments.